What in the Josh tomorrow is happening? Disney is taking away early entry for hotel guests. No more 30 minutes in Fantasyland before rope drop.
You're listening to Castle Talk Radio. We're live on the airwaves with Becca and Jessica. Now let's jump into this week's episode.
That's right. Disneyland has announced that starting January 5th, 2026, you will no longer get early entry to one of the theme parks during your stay if you're an on-site hotel guest. Instead, you get one lightning lane. Just one for your entire stay for one ride. Whether you're there one night or a whole week, it does not matter. You get one lightning lane entry to one ride.
Disney says it's a perk. Fans online say it's a downgrade. And today we're digging into the business side, the fan reactions, and most importantly, what this means for your trip.
Yeah. So the perk right now, like I said, through January 5th, I guess it actually stops January 6th, is early entry. That's 30 minutes early admission into either park for all Disney hotel guests. And it's like on a rotating schedule. It's not like Disney World where every park has it every day. It's either California Adventure or Disneyland and they rotate which days. But yeah, let's get into this.
Let's also remember that prior to this, hotels guests got extra magic hour, which was an entire hour head start at the parks.
Yeah. And everyone who bought a 3-day ticket, even if they're staying off site, got one magic morning hour to use at Disneyland Park on select days of the week. So yeah, we've downgraded a lot.
We've dealt with the 30-minute reduction. I mean, we have worked that early entry for every minute it is worth. And that's been clutch for hitting Fantasyland rides like Peter Pan's Flight or Tomorrowland favorites like Space Mountain with practically no wait.
Yeah. But starting January 6th, 2026, early entry's gone. Instead, hotel guests get one lightning lane per their entire stay. I just can't get over that.
Yeah, I mean, we have to keep repeating it because it's like so shocking. Now, Disney's line is that early entry wasn't heavily used. I'd love to see stats on that because only they hold those statistics and can tell us the percentage of guests who used it. But I promise you, every summer when my party of 15 to 20 booked stays at the Disneyland hotels, we were all up and hitting the ground well before 7 a.m. to get those rides in, especially at Disneyland Park. Now, California Adventure, not so much.
Yeah, I have to agree on that because every time I've done early entry and I've been staying at one of those, the lines have been long to get in. And yes, it feels empty inside the lands, but that's like the whole point, right? You're not supposed to feel like there's a ton of people there. But anyways, their line track, I mean, it all tracks according to them, you know. Lots of families are on vacation and don't want to be in the park before 7 a.m., which they really weren't. They started letting them in at like 7:15, but you know, they still want to sleep in. Supposedly.
Right.
Supposedly.
Yeah, but we do it anyways because we know that Disneyland is a different type of vacation and the early bird gets the worm. Early risers get to go on Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan before the wait is insane. But let's get back to the business side of things and we're going to follow the money and we can unravel what's really happening here.
Oh my gosh, I wish I was a fly on the wall in these Disney executive meetings. I bet we'd hear things like early entry operations are expensive, staffing is expensive, ride, wear, and tear, custodial needs add up. All these operation costs for just a fraction of guests. Cutting it saves resources.
Oh. Meanwhile, giving away one lightning lane costs Disney almost nothing, but it hooks guests into the system. So you try it once, then maybe you add more lightning lane multi passes to your days, or even a lightning lane single pass, which, as a reminder, lightning lane single pass is an additional cost to ride currently Radiator Springs Racers and or Star Wars Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah. So we have a small peek at Disney's side, but fans online, they had lots of thoughts, lots of them. And I have to say, one of my things that I said first off before I read the full article is, well, hopefully at least this is going to be a Lightning Lane single pass that you can use for Rise of the Resistance or Radiator Springs Racers. No,
Oh no.
it's a regular Lightning Lane. And it's
Mhm.
just like, oh my gosh. So it's good on
Yeah.
the regular rides. It's kind of ridiculous. Well, anyways, let's get into what other people have said.
Yeah, Becca, I've actually got some Reddit threads and
Gosh.
I've sent you over these notes because we're going to read these and echo what almost every fan is saying. So I have the banter and we could take turns and read it like a script like people are doing it.
Ooh. Okay, kind of like when they do the am I the a-hole ones. Okay, I like this. I'm ready. Let's
Exactly.
go.
And yes, the answer is yes. That's not you, but we know who.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start off. And we do have the links to these threads as well if you want to like dig into it more with your friends on Reddit. Worst part worst part is it's not even a daily lightning lane. It's one lightning lane for the length of stay.
Yeah, that's so rough. At least give one per park ticket per day for crying out loud. Yikes.
Wow, how generous of them. A whole lightning lane absolutely free.
Don't pay attention to how the fast pass was free before Lightning Lane, or that Lightning Lane causes wait times to be horrible for some rides.
Yes, and to bring the point further, here's another script for you, Becca. This is also from Reddit. Both links are in the show notes. Quote, I would have vibed if they gave you one lightning lane for a single attraction each day of your stay, but just one for the entire trip. When the early entry was for each day you had park admission for, like, huh? That's not a fair trade off.
Even then, we've always pretty much exhausted all meaningful ways to use Lightning Lane by the end of the day, and that's during the busiest time of year. This amounts to being able to ride one extra walk on, dark ride, or thrill ride you already would have walked onto, per se. This is sickening. Like that
Are
one.
there any perks to staying at one of the Disney hotels in Anaheim besides the proximity of the Grand Californian Hotel? Unless money is no object, seems like the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, okay, before I read the next one, I have to say I 100% agree with that because there's some really nice hotels off property that are super close, have, maybe a water park or, our 4 diamond Westin hotels that are much cheaper and might be better for your family. Okay, moving on to the next one. Um A big perk for my family, besides the hotels being pretty nice, is honestly, you don't have to leave the Disney bubble at all. It's more true for the Grand Californian Hotel and Disneyland Hotel. The Pixar one, you have to feel like you're leaving the bubble a little, and I agree.
Yeah, okay, so that's the end of my presentation via Reddit quotes. And I really got the same reactions through my Instagram channel, so I'm sure the overall feedback and talk online is very similar.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people trying to make lemonade out of lemons, like Magic Vacations by Megan, and there's no hate to any of these guys, but they are people that are trying to be positive about it. On Instagram, listed 5 reasons why she thinks it's a good thing. Basically, sleeping in, less competition against early risers. I have a comment on that though. More flexibility for families. Have a comment on that one too, and things like that. So less competition against early risers. I don't agree with that one. Um, for anyone, especially for the on-site people, because actually you're going to have more competition because now you're going to have all the offsite guests, right? So it's more competition there. If you're talking about for the offsite guests, I actually did a test where I did rope drop strategies 2 days in a row. One day that was early entry in that park and one day that wasn't. And honestly, in the lands that had early entry, it was better for you to go after early entry if you were off site because all the on-site guests had moved away from those lands by that point. So I don't fully agree with that. And as for more flexibility for families, I think taking away an early or option makes it less flexibility, right? Like that was an option. People could go really early in the morning and come back earlier in the day for a break. So I feel it's less flexibility, but there you go.
Yeah, I can see some of those perks, but there's an argument for and against. And I still maintain that this is a money motivated corporate move. And it truly leaves me wondering if you should still book a Disneyland hotel. Will I still book a Disney hotel every summer like I have for years with my extended family? I don't know. My friend Ashley said, who knows? It seems like people just keep going and keep shelling out the money. And that's really what happens at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's true. Disney has and continues to make changes and give us less for our money and charge more. And people threaten not to come back or come as often, but people rarely change and they still shell it out. I mean, we just saw this Oogie Boogie Bash. I had people that I saw say, not going to be going this year. They've priced my family out. Well, when tickets didn't sell out the first couple days, they changed their mind and they spent that amount of money and their family is going. So it's kind of the same thing. Now, while we're talking about this, let's also just mention that we expect ticket prices to also go up really soon. And so we're going to see again another increase and they're taking stuff away. So
Mhm.
I but
Right.
they've got us all where they want us. It's like we say those things and then they're thinking in their heads that line from the song from Hamilton, "You'll be back. Wait and
Oh,
see."
absolutely. Yeah, especially with something that we're all so emotionally tied to. So, if
Right.
early entry was your main reason for staying at a Disneyland Resort hotel, will this push you off property? I'm still undecided.
I'm not. I'm staying off property. Like that was the only reason that I liked paying. Now, I will say I do like staying at the Grand for the convenience. I don't want to stay on my own dime though. I will wait until I get um someone else to pay for it from now on, now that that perk's gone. Um and I love the Disneyland Hotel. I might still do the Disneyland Hotel if the price is right, but it'll depend. But honestly, some of the offsite options are just as close, if not closer. I mentioned the Courtyard Anaheim theme park entrance. That's the one with the water park and rooms that sleep six that are really spacious. The Westin is a little bit farther, but it's still walking distance. It's Four Diamond. It's beautiful. It has, if you get the right rooms, you have views where you can see the fireworks and all that kind of stuff. And then if you just are like, I just need somewhere to sleep, Best Western, literally across the street. And you can book them all through our partners at getawaytoday.com/castle talk. And some of the hotels there, they have like free nights, so you're getting an even better deal. And then, of course, they have the best deals on Disneyland tickets. And we expect those to go up soon. So if you're planning on traveling anytime through 2026, you need to book probably now.
Yeah, and with the hotels, we've done several off-property hotel episodes if you're looking for
Mhm.
something new and to switch it up. So you'll save enough money that you could actually buy Lightning Lane Multipass for your whole family every day and still come out ahead compared to some of those Disneyland hotel prices,
Yeah.
if they stay at the same price point they're at.
Yeah. And if you are staying on site and you've got this one lightning lane, don't waste it. Like, where should you use it, Jessica, in your opinion?
Yeah. So I first need to see how this plays out in practice, but my guess is it will show up in your app tied to your tickets as a Lightning Lane multipass that can be used once on a variety of ride choices. So, in any time of your choosing during your theme park reservation window. So,
Mhm.
we don't know if it will include every attraction that has Lightning Lane and also some that don't show up as lightning lanes, but they do show up when a ride goes down. So it's tricky at this point.
Yeah, I do wonder if it's going to be put in as a multi-experience pass,
Mhm.
which can I tell you a little story that I realized long after we had this? Remember the time we thought we had multi-experience passes and they weren't showing up and it wasn't do you remember that? And we're like, it says multi-pass experience pass and we were like
Keep
messaging with
going.
Leslie, our friend.
Keep
I don't know
going.
if
It
you remember
might
that.
jog my memory. Yeah.
We had booked a ride that was down, right? And so we
Yes,
should have
yes,
gotten a
I remember.
multi-experience pass. And then all of a sudden it's like it like came up right then. I realized that we kept sending screenshots saying, "See, it says multi-experience pass." No, it said multi-pass. It said multi-pass because Lightning Lane multi-pass. I noticed that way too late. I never wanted to bring it up, but anyways, I'm just saying this because don't confuse your
Right.
multi-experience pass with your regular
Yeah.
Lightning Lane multi-pass.
Gosh, all the naming situations at Disney. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I know. Okay, so let's pretend though it has the ultimate flexibility. You can use it on any ride, but we're only going to use it if the line's over 20 minutes because we're going to be smart about it.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
and the timing matters too. Like, don't use it first thing. Morning lines are
right.
naturally shorter. So you want to save it for the afternoon when the waits can be longer. Or maybe even save it for your last day, like the last ride when you want to say goodbye to your Disneyland trip.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So basically, here's the takeaway: Disney is saving money, gets more dabbling in Lightning Lane, and casual guests probably won't notice, but for planners and longtime fans, it feels like a loss.
Yeah, if you love the Disney hotel theming and convenience, it might still be worth it. I mean, one of my reasons for staying on site is we do this annual family vacation and it just feels special. Even if Disney isn't treating us as special, it still feels magical to be there and like use the pools and not having to be outside the Disney bubble. But it also depends on pricing, and I just don't know how next summer is going to go for us yet.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. If fans push back hard enough, Disney could adjust. I don't think it will be to bring back early
I
entry.
don't think so.
I think it's more going to be something like maybe giving you one for every day. I don't know. We'll see. But if you're unhappy with it, make sure Disney knows so that they can hopefully change it. But for now, early entry is ending, and one little lightning lane is going to take its place.
You've been listening to Castle Talk Radio, where we cut through the pixie dust and talk about what really matters for your Disney trip. So, if you found this episode helpful, insightful, or even a little bit entertaining, we'd love for you to leave a review. Reviews are hard to come by, and we'd appreciate your feedback. Thanks, and we'll see you next time at Disneyland, just not at early entry.